It's so great to be back here in Sepang in this sweltering heat in the 45 kilometers away from Kuala Lumpur. Hello everyone, welcome all to the new season of Formula Hololive Japan. The 2024 Formula Hololive Japan season is about to get underway here in Sepang. We're going to start with Split A pretty soon. And before that, let's take a look into what Sepang Circuit entails. We're looking at a 5.545 kilometer circuit here, 15 corners in total, 56 laps for this race, totaling for about 305 kilometers of race distance. Also, we're going to look at a target lap time of maybe a 1:46.947 for the Formula Hololive Japan cars, as these cars are no longer running on a ballast for equal performances with the Formula Hololive International cars. It's the season opener venue for Formula Hololive Japan, and it's also the former F1 and Super GT venue. Hopefully F1 is able to come back here in Sepang as well. Well, Super GT was there in Sepang, but that was only for preseason testing. It's not an actual round, so that may or may not count. But anyways, that's not the important part here. In the case of Formula Hololive, we've already seen two winners here in Sepang from last year. That's Lorenzo Ricci and Fabio Mendes. Both of them are racing today here in Split A. Speaking of the Split A spotter guy, let's take a look into the driver lineups coming into the start of the season. We have Alto Santana, Lorenzo Ricci, Johan Sinful, Michael Turner, Christoph Salomon. A lot of these drivers still remain on their seats here in Formula Hololive Japan, as well as Jeff Clark, Vladislav Demashnev, Richie Rod, and then, but that's as far as the new entrants go for now, because we're going to take a look into Rustin Caraccio, number 39 Lapless Darkness car. He's the driver that replaced Takeda Adachi and the previous drivers Ricky Contreras and Sergei Kayamov in the number 39 car. Kabinete Reba and Maverick Duciem swap rides between the Polka and Boltan cars. So now we have Riba driving for Shishiro Boltan, and that's all that's all we can talk about them in Split A. We're going to continue with Fabio Mendes for Koiri, Sean Pauly, Tyler Williams. Oh yes, Tyler Williams. Tyler Williams is your new full-time driver for Amane Kanata. He has had starts for Kanata since December 2023. He replaces the outgoing Yukikaze Kai and Hanari Miyuki in Amane Kanata number 57. Alex Grant in the Yukihano Lamy car is basically unchanged from last year, as well as Callum Gibbons, Split A champion from the 2023 Formula Hololive Japan season. Raji Kaczynski, of course, stays for Yuzuki Choko, and Ray Liu would contest for a full-time season for the first time in his racing career here in the ARO. Let's take a look into the provisional standings, on which we will also try to explain to you all about the new format that we want to use for the 2024 Formula Hololive Japan season. So basically, we have 5 races in the qualifiers, which offers you the standard points format, 200 points for the winner, etc, etc, etc. And right now, as we take a look into the standings here, you may see that the top 10 will, at the end of these qualifiers, marked in blue, will be the ones that qualify for the Suyo Cup in the second half of the season. And those who win the Suyo Cup in Formula Hololive Japan is the overall champion of Formula Hololive Japan. So all these drivers, at least for the first half of the season, will need to try to get themselves into the Suyo spot in order for them to actually compete for the Formula Hololive Japan title. Otherwise, if you qualify outside the top 10, which is marked in orange, you can see here on the infographics in front of you, you will be bumped down to the Zako Cup instead. And ideally, you wouldn't want to race in the Zako Cup, but what choices do you have if you haven't qualified for the Suyo Cup on merit? But anyways, out of the way, we got these driver lineups pretty much complete. We're gonna go intermission here to get ourselves into the qualifying session. So my name is Muhammad Reza in the commentary booth. It's a sunny day here in Sepang International Circuit for round 1 of Formula Hololive Japan qualifiers. We're starting off with Split A, and we got the first cars out on track. Rustin Caraccio first out on the racetrack here for the qualifying session here in Sepang. is, I believe, to be the first, the one of two debutants for at least to compete in a full season of Formula Hololive for the season. Well, at least the new faces compared to 2023 at least. And at the same time, we also would like to showcase everyone the new helmets. Actually, it's actually pretty nice that we have given the drivers a lot of choice over their colors. And right now, we're taking a look into Rustin Caraccios's bluish purple helmet. Obviously, he is also quite into Lapis Darkness, despite not really setting her as his Oshi. Oh, strangling the curves there very much, turn 9. Also, another one with some very good helmets there, Crystal Salman in the number 12 ASCII car. Tokinosora and ASCII performed in bright uniform in I believe that was January 12th. Anyways, Crystal Salman now carries a black helmet with a starry background representing ASCII, and you can see here that just exudes authority and power. That is Crystal Salman, as he is gonna try to get himself focused for a lap here in Sepang. Raj Kaczynski also has a Indian and national color helmet here. That's also nice to see. Vladislav Damashev goes for Akira Rosenthal's colors in his helmet. Tyler Williams has a halo on top of his head. So let's go on board Tyler Williams to see where the halo is. There it is. As we're gonna go on board Tyler Williams, car number 57. Get the best exit off of turn 15. Go for that late apex to start the lap. That is how Tyler Williams starts his lap here in Sepang. As he approaches turn 1 here, stretch the legs as much as possible. Brake at between the 150 meter boards. Brake 75 meters before turn 1. Hanging around the inside of turn 1, second gear. You might want downshift into first gear coming into the second, but he holds on to second. And now coming to turn 3, easy flat out here. And as you can see, coming into turn 4, the first sector. Use the access road as a braking marker. 27.029 for Tyler Williams on that first sector there. Get a good arc on that apex. And coming into the fast sweeping turns 5 and 6. Flat out for turn 5. Had to lift in turn 6. No need for downshifting for Tyler Williams there. Coming to turn 7 and 8. Use the 50 meter board as reference to brake. And then you treat the turn 7 and 8 as a single corner. Coming to turn 9. Use the 100 meter board as a marker to brake, as he's about to come into the second sector timing beam. 104.118 for Tyler Williams there as he comes into turn 11. No problems there as he just arcs it very beautifully, coming to turn 12 flat. Turn 13 brake while cornering at the same time. It's a tricky corner, and then get as much speed as possible coming into turn 14 because you have this back straight. Nearly a kilometer in length is this back straight before you meet yourself with the 1 kilometer long main straight. Just brake before the curbs there at the access road at turn 15, and get a good exit off of that final corner for you to have a very good lap in Sepang. Tyler Williams only sets a 1:45.748, and there is a side-by-side action here right at the start-finish line. Jeff Clark and Sean Pauly. And meanwhile, Lorenzo Ricci, though, 1:43.112 for him. He sets provisional pole for Hosha Marine in car number 6. Haven't seen Lorenzo Ricci get up there in Sepang since, actually, the Split A decider in Sepang a few months ago in the 2023 season. And Tanaro, of course, also performs as well. Look at him, only 0.2 of a second behind Lorenzo Ricci. Michael Turner is also showing up quite well in a pretty Australian themed helmet. He's only about 100th of a second behind Tanaro, so also nice to see. Meanwhile, we have the defending Split A champion, Callum Gibbons, currently down in 11th place. Richie Rod down in 12th. Sean Paul is not doing very well. He's also down in 14th. Jeff Clark down in 16th. And Johan Sinful down in 17th. Just wanted to remind everyone of the qualifying order that we have at the moment. But meanwhile, as we talk about debutants in Formula Hololive, RaceSimStudio has improved even further. He now goes up into the top 2, only a tenth of a second behind Lorenzo Ricci. I mean, look at RaceSimStudio. He's making sure everyone heeds his call to get as an authoritative figure up front of the grid, and right now he's doing a very good job at it. Laplace would be so proud of him, trying to assert authority over everyone despite being the newcomer. Crusher has gone a long way. But meanwhile, Sean Pauli, as we also mentioned him as well, Sean Pauli gets out of the bottom positions to get himself into the top 10 and try to stamp his challenge into the studio spots. At least in terms of setting himself up for the race. Meanwhile, Johan Sinful has bumped Jeff Clark. Alto Santana pulls one better against Caraccio to get himself only 0.02 of a second behind Lorenzo Ricci. And Ray Liu also improves, 1:43.555, and compared to his fellow Hololive rival Fabio Mendes, who is currently down in 10th place, he's got something to do to try to get himself a better lap. Callan Gibbons now goes out into 10th place, bumps Fabio Mendes down to 11, bumps Sean Pauli down to 12. Okay, let's go about a bit of a Hololive break, Hololive related break, as we talk about Hololive related matters. Let's talk about... we're going to be taking a look into... it's going to be pretty tricky to find which driver we should be really talking about. But I think a good start here would be Crystal Salaman. Crystal Salaman, of course, representing ASCII in both ARO competitions, in both Hololive GT3 and Formula Hololive. As the Mustang gets up into 5th place, 1:43.411 for him, only 0.3 of a second behind Lorenzo Ricci there. Salaman should have a very good rivalry with Hofu Mi if they both qualify in the studio. Sean Pauli improves his time, gets up into 8th place. Because Salaman has a black colored helmet and Hofumi reports to have a white colored helmet. So obviously this would mean that they are literally opposites of each other despite being in the same gen. Also, we have Tokina Sora and ASCII being partners in performing live on stage as top class idols. Their most recent live performances together is in the Soraz Live on, I believe it was in January 12th. First Gravity, I believe it was called. So, assuming that Salaman and Fumi both qualify in the studio, we're gonna see a heated battle between the two. I mean, Salaman, also, we should also credit his consistency on the racetrack. I mean, Salaman is only qualified 12th right now, but more often than not, we can actually try to convert this qualifying woe into a pretty good race result. But of course, if he wants to be a fully top driver, he has to iron out his qualifying problems in order for him to actually improve on. Oh, there was a bit of a miscommunication there. Kaczynski and Salaman basically traded blows between each other as Salaman comes into the pit. But fortunately, he's already on the outside line. But anyways, Salaman's quality is in his driving, in his race craft. So basically, he knows how to be consistent in the race, don't get stuck in way too much, and let the results come to him. But obviously, with his low qualifying positions on the grid, that will affect on where he will finish, because he does have a very decent amount of top 10, but he only has one podium finish in Hololive GT3 competitions, and I believe it's only a single win in Formula Hololive competitions. That, of course, being at the 2023 Suzuka Grand Prix. So if Crystal Salaman wants to improve on his race-winning performances, he needs to at least have a better shot of qualifying up front. But of course, the quality of the grid here is just so huge. It's just so good, because you have also let's put aside the Hololive members who have already moved 100% towards the bright uniforms. Oh, and Sean Pauli nearly makes contact with Tyler Williams. Anyways, these drivers should have a lot of skill behind the wheel to try to race themselves cleanly and, of course, basically race each other in a professional manner. Understand the gaps and all that stuff. Meanwhile, Ryan Kuzinski gets himself up into 4th place as we're about to reach into the closing stages into this qualifying session. Oh, Sean Pauli being held up just a little bit there. Joseph Salman is now back on the racetrack. He should have at least 2 tries on a hot lap here in Sepang. Excuse me. Alright, as we're about to get into Crystal Salaman's hot lap for his second stint in qualifying, we just wanted to remind everyone of the current qualifying order right now. Lorenzo Ricci currently has the provisional pole position, leading Alexander Tannerau by around 700ths of a second. He actually does improve there. He now gets into the range of a 143, already exceeding lap time expectations. That's mostly because back when they ran at Sepang the last time, the Formula Hololive Japan car, they were under a ballast to basically have equal performances with the international cars. Because Salman, of course, is gonna try to improve one himself, but right now it's not looking good here as everyone is almost set here in Sepang. What a very sunny day here in Sepang here. The sun shining, of course, temperature is at around 31 degrees Celsius. So we also want to talk about tire degradation. That is also a contentious topic to talk about on the racetrack. Meanwhile, it's a 103.010, 6 tenths of a second behind. Salman needs to find at least a few tenths on the final corner here if he wants to challenge Fabio Mendes, Kamner Riba, Relio, and all that stuff. And looking into Salman barreling down into the main back straight. Right now he's doing very well to try to get himself into position, but I doubt that he will be able to improve on his qualifying time. Obviously, Salman is about to cross the line. Let's see where he will end up. He does not improve. 2 tenths of a second slower than his best lap. So it just would mean that he will stay 12th for now, unless he finds extra time in the final minute of this qualifying session. Rasim Carrasco on his Formula Hololive debut is currently in 3rd place. Tyler Williams isn't doing better than Carrasco as he's currently down in 16th place. Jeff Clark is on a woeful pace down in 17th place for Nakiri Ayame. Okay, back in Sepang. Damn background audio. Anyways, the gap between the top 3, we should also commend, as the gaps between the top 3 drivers in this qualifying session are actually under a tenth of a second, which shows you that these fastest drivers have almost nothing between them. So that is also a thing that we should be excited. Sean Pauli, of course, improves on his previous lap. He's now up into 5th place. Tyler Williams, as we said, that he has been struggling qualifying, at least has gained 3 more positions to get himself up into at least closer to the top 10. Meanwhile, Crystal Salman, I don't think he's gonna gain a lot of time here. He probably needs to score a 143.5 if he wants to have any shot, and he does. He gets closer, bumps Fabio Mendes down in 12th. It's the timer has run out in the qualifying session. We're looking into some drivers who have already made their moves into the pit lane. We already have a lot of drivers already coming into the pits. That's Reba. He's going to be set to be in 10th. Mendes in 12th. Sinful will be set in 16th. Gibbons 8th. Damashnev 7th. Turner 6th. Rasim Karashio ends his qualifying run in as high as 3rd place, which is absolutely nice to see for a debutant in Formula Hololive. We're looking into the final few cars that are about to cross the line. Raja Kaczynski about to cross the line. He will only be good for 4th place. The remaining cars should be Sean Pauli, Tyler Williams, Lorenzo Ricci, Jeff Clark, and Richie Rod. They're currently the remaining 5 drivers out on the track, and as you can see here, they still have the 0 mark on the side of their names, on side of their times. That will mean that they're still in a hot lap. Pauli does not improve. Neither does Tyler Williams. Jeff Clark, Alex Grant has not improved either. Jeff Clark is not going to be set to improve either. The answer is no. Richie Rod's about to cross the line, and he's not going to be fancy on improving either. It's not going to be enough. That's the grid. Lorenzo Ricci is your pole sitter. A decent end to the end of this first qualifying session for Formula Hololive Japan for the 2024 season. Let's get on board to the starting lineup for the Sepang Grand Prix Split A race for the Formula Hololive Japan 2024 qualifiers. Let's take a look. Lorenzo Ricci starts on pole position for Hosho Marine. He will enjoy this pole position as he now has pace to compete, unlike last year where he's just been a nowhere. He should be very excited for that. Alter Serrantaro now qualifying in 2nd place. Obviously, he wants to forget his performance woes in Hololive GT3 in December and January. So he would like to make it up here in Formula Hololive. Rasim Karashio for Lapless Darkness on his first race in Formula Hololive. He will start 3rd place. He has a lot to fight for coming into the end of this race. Raja Kaczynski, of course, qualifying for Yuzuki Choco. He's also done very well for his Oshi. In 4th, only 7 seconds behind Lorenzo Ricci's time, which is at 1:43.069. Sean Pauli qualifying well in number 56 car for Inugami Corne. He is enjoying his time in Formula Hololive. Turner starts 6th for Shirogane Noel as he has a new Australian team helmet frame. Blasa Damashev, new helmet frame as well. And actually, if you want to take a look into the message here on the side of all the Gen 1 cars, it says Team 66 Forever in both English and Japanese. I think if you know what this message means, please let us know in the chat on what it means. And then we also have Ri Liu starting in 9th place on the day of the Chinese New Year. Happy New Year for Ri Liu, as this should be a celebration that he should be celebrating. Kamine Riba, of course, running out of the top 10 for Shishiro Botan in car number 43. Crystal Salman starts 11th in the number 12 ASCII car, as he, of course, now sports a pitch black helmet. As well, and then we also have Fabio Mendes qualifying 12th for Hakui Koiri. Tyler Williams starts 13th for Amane Canada alongside Richie Rod, 14th for Shirakami Fubuki, also carrying the Team 66 Forever message on the side. Johan Sinful starts hang on. Alex Grant starts 15th for Yukihana Lamy. You can see the lap times on the screen here, as well as Johan Sinful 16th, nearly 2 seconds back on the pole sitter. You also can see the message on the sides. And then Jeff Clark will be rounding out the field for Nakiri Ayame, unfortunately, as he has not been at his best. But let's see if we can see some surprises coming into this race. As we're about to get this race underway, we expect to have a very good race here. As you can see here, a lot of cars also have the high downforce setups. And also we wanted to highlight the fact that these cars are basically running on very high heat and humidity in Sepang, so there's a lot of wear and tear possible on these tires, as these tires are at a high risk of blistering. And also the Sepang's nature would mean that there will be a very good amount of tire wear that is actually aggravated by the characteristics of the Sepang circuit. So with that out of the way, let's get this racing finally underway here in Sepang for the first race of the Formula Hololive Japan season. It's the Sepang Grand Prix Split A race. First of 5 qualifier races for both Split A and B. We're going to start Split A. The grid is set. Lorenzo Ricci on pole position. Altasson Tannerau in second. And we are finally underway. And as you can see here, it's a very good start there by, looks like Rustin Carrasco there. He is now alongside Lorenzo Ricci down the inside. He's going to try to take the lead, but they both make contact. Their tires bumping each other here. And as you can see here, Carrasco has a pretty decent outside line, which actually shuffles Ricci wide, and Carrasco having a dream start for his Oshi Laplace Darkness here, but not before. Lorenzo Ricci tries to fight back. Sean Pauli also having a very amazing start here for himself. Of course, gets beaten back by his fellow Gamers teammate and Tannerau. Carrasco now leads Ricci, and Tannerau third. Pauli fourth, Turner fifth, Kaczynski sixth, Damashan seventh, Riba eighth, Callum Gibbons ninth, and Crystal Salman jumps into the top 10. Already we're seeing great action here. Riba trying to challenge Vlasa Damasha, but he is now coming off very badly. He's now going to be under pressure from Callum Gibbons, who's going to go for the dive bomb. Crystal Salman is waiting in the wings. Oh, there's a huge amount of dogfights in the mid-pack, and as you can see here, Damashev was open to an attack by Riba, but Riba couldn't close down on the shot, and that actually left Riba actually quite exposed on the counterattack by Callum Gibbons, who actually went on the opportunity, but Riba actually defended it well this time. Rustin Carrasco has got to be proud for himself. He is now leading for Laplace Darkness in car number 39. Which is odd to see here because while Laplace can commit to the bright uniform, she's not usually seen in bright uniform. She's usually seen in the original uniform, where in Hololive GT3, Rustin Carrasco actually sits 6th. Well, correction, he's not actually sitting in 6th, he's actually sitting in 8th, but that doesn't change the fact that he is in the top 10 of a total of 34 other contestants. Lorenzo Ricci, who was sitting on pole, had a pretty messy start for himself, and that actually puts him down under pressure against the Okakuro combination of Antanara and Sean Pauli. Now, speaking of Okakuro, here's the battle between the two, Antanara and Pauli. There's literally not much separating between them, both of them having serious pace here in Sepang. Antanara, of course, having renewed faith in Nakamata Okayu. Of course, he is hasn't been performing at his best. Of course, he only had this one podium finish in the Altopolis Super Prix Split B race previously, and now in Tannerau competing in Split A. He's looking to have a reversal of fortunes for himself. He is now currently 3rd place, and if he stays here, would at least put him in a comfortable position for the Suyo Cup. The sound of inline 4 engines round through Sepang, and as you can see here, no battles just yet as we're about to go on board here with Vlasa Damashev. You can see here Riba and Gibbons going side by side finally. Cal Gibbons trying to pile on the pressure. Lorenzo Ricci has the fastest lap of the race. Gibbons going through the slipstream at the back of Kaminari Riba. He's now going to go side by side with Kaminari Riba. Look at the radar on the right. Look at the onboard as you're seeing on the screen here. Oh, they both made contact here. Gibbons slightly made it on the scene, but at the same time, look at Lorenzo Ricci and Rustin Carrasco. As we said that, Lorenzo Ricci actually used the slipstream to his advantage to take advantage of Carrazio being exposed to a lot of not much of a slipstream. Ricci had the slipstream, had the pace advantage on the straights, and has therefore used that slipstream to actually overtake Russian Carrazio for the race lead again. Lorenzo Ricci now has control once again, but now Carrazio has to be under pressure from the Okakoro cars of Antanarao and Pauly. Antanarao goes outside, now the inside. Will Antanarao make a move? Oh, and Antanarao and Carrazio both make contact. They both lose time. Sean Pauly also got caught up in the mix, but he isn't collected. He just got slowed. Antanarao with slightly more aggressive than usual driving from Antanarao. Actually made contact with Carrazio, and that might not do some favors to Carrazio's race-winning plans. And that in turn also gives Ricci a lot of sigh of relief and a lot of breathing space. Look at Sean Pauly down the inside of Alton Antanarao, down the inside of turn 15. Sean Pauly trying to get a better move down the inside. Ricci again sets the fastest lap of the race, 1:44.247. Now Sean Pauly comes down the inside once again on Antanarao. Let's see if Antanarao can pull up with a stellar defense, and they both make contact once again. The Okakoro cars showing that they have nothing between them right now, but Sean Pauly at the end of the day makes it work for Inugami Korone. The Korone car number 56 now is in third place. Just looking back into the status at the back, Alex Grant currently in 14th place, trying to catch Tyler Williams in 13th. Tyler Williams, the other debutant in Formula Hololive, who's making his first Formula Hololive start today, is currently in 13th place, and right now he's just doing pretty okay. And now you can see here Alex Grant trying to go side by side with Tyler Williams there. Oh, nearly ending in tears there. In the battle between these two drivers, but you can see here Tyler Williams at least trying to survive the onslaught that Alex Grant is actually putting up, and Tyler Williams having a pretty good defensive case for himself. Now Sean Pauly is going to be looking for a chance against Rustin Carrazio, who's actually not getting a lot of time on Lorenzo Ricci in terms of race pace. Carrazio is actually quite slower than Ricci on that last lap, as Ricci already sets the fastest lap of the race for now. And again, fastest lap for Lorenzo Ricci, 1:44.026. As you can see here, let's take a look into the race field monitor, and as you can see here, we're looking at a variety of strategies here for the Formula Hololive Japan cars. Looking into drivers, they might be pitting as early as around lap 26, but a lot of drivers are going to pit quite late into the race and hope for the best in this overcut strategy. Alex Grant and Tyler Williams once again trade blows between each other, and now Tyler Williams, having nothing to fight back against Alex Grant, is now down in 14th place. Tyler Williams and Alex Grant is now up into 13th. Lorenzo Ricci is just here to race, and he's here to just bring smiles to all his fans' faces. He's now currently leading for Hosho Marine. All of the Ichimi should be very excited for this moment here. Lorenzo Ricci at least being in the lead for Hosho Marine, and right now, and as you can see, but that's not but right now Lorenzo Ricci is currently hanging around the race lead pretty fine for now. And as you can see here, Ricci currently controls this race. He's now opened the gap against Carrazio by around 5.8 seconds. Let's take a look back into the race field monitor to see where Ricci ends up. He will pit earlier than usual, 1:43.906 for him for his new fastest lap. Meanwhile, Rustin Carrazio is actually gonna go long and hope to gain on other drivers' worn out tires in the second half of the race. So right now we're looking at Rasim Karasio looking to trade the first half of the race for the second half of the race. Well, the other big question is, will Rasim Karasio have time? Oh, and as you can see here, Rasim Karasio is losing a lot of time to Lorenzo Ricci there, and he's looking to form like a trolley train behind him, as his defensive driving is good enough for him to stay in second, but he's not fast enough to catch Lorenzo Ricci in the lead, and so that should cause some kerfuffle in blockading other drivers' progress at the back. Rasim Karasio being the pied back as the pied back piper, if you want to call him that. He's just leading all the other cars away in second place, so trying to catch Lorenzo Ricci in the race lead. Meanwhile, as we were taking a look into basically the current situation here, there's not much battles forming around. Well, we might be thinking, oh, what about Gibbons and the Mustang? Well, the gap is still only around 0.5 of a second. But look at Sean Paul. He is actually getting close into Rasim Karasio. Sean Paul tries to think of a move down the outside, but of course you can see here, Sean Paul had to think about it pretty widely here, and now you can see Paulie still trying to catch on Karasio, but Antanara is actually not far behind. The battle for fourth is still heating up as usual. Currently, it's Koro leading the Oka Koro in third place compared to the Oka part in fourth. Oh, pretty aggressive on the curbs there. Antanara going to the turn 2. That's so now Antanara, as Antanara would have been just a chill driver, just biding his time in the car before he pounces on the opportunity. But right now, he's actually being more daring in terms of trying to find his chances, which is very, very nice to see, given that Antanara has been pretty quiet, but it has been performing well in Formula Hololive recently, while banging in some very decent and consistent results, leading him to finish inside the top 10 in the final standings of 2023. And by final standings, I mean final overall standings. Sean Paul, of course, also showing that he's got skill behind the wheel in a Formula Hololive car. And also, we also wanted to mention to you all that the Okakoro cars have actually had a pretty good finish in as far as the championship standings in Formula Hololive goes. I mean, Antanara up in he would finish 6th in the final standings, the final overall standings, and Sean Pauli ending up in 11th place. So these drivers have quality, at least in Formula Hololive here, and now you can see here that they're all just trying to get themselves back on each other. Looking into the current situations here, we're just monitoring the race field monitor as the race currently unfolds, and right now, looking into Lorenzo Ricci, he should have only about 18 laps of field to go. Really should be the last driver to come into this pits for his one and only stop. So watch out for the drivers going for the overcut strategy coming into the end of this race. You want to pit late, but you want to pit late and use as much of your tires as possible to gain as much position as possible against those who pitted early on the trying to go for the undercut. Oh, meanwhile you can see here Clark and Rod battling side by side. Richie Rod just falls down the order, and he's now down in 17th place. Not the position this Kombu are hoping for. But Clark at least should should be excited that he's not actually finishing in last place. Sean Pauli currently in 3rd place, trying to challenge Rasim Karasio for a 2nd place here. He is getting closer and closer, but he's not getting close enough as it stands. Now Sean Pauli coming around the exit of turn 14. And now Paulie coming across the back straight here. He's actually catching up with Rustam Carrascio. He's thinking of a move down the inside. He is thinking of a move down the inside. He's making it a move down the inside. They're both alongside each other. But Rustam Carrascio should try to have a very good exit off of the final corner, and that is what he's doing right now. On the right is Rustam Carrascio. He's trying to defend as much as he can against Sean Paulie. Both of them not having the slipstream. They're both alongside each other. Sean Paulie trying to hang around the outside. Turn one, they both make contact. Paulie and Carrascio. Paulie, going deep into turn two, but manages to hold on to it. Sean Paulie is now up into second place. A truly aggressive driver he is, Sean Paulie, using the experiences that he has accumulated. Meanwhile, Rustam Carrascio continues to fall down the order. If let's say he is not careful against Alcazar and Tanneral, and Tanneral is going to try to get his chances to get himself into the podium position once again, trying to pass Rustam Carrascio, who initially had the lead on the race start. Ooh, moving down the inside there, and Tanneral pushes Carrascio off wide, but that will allow Michael Turner to go down the inside of Antanara coming into turn 9. Oh, they both made contact, and that would mean Antanara should be able to defend this position well. And now look at Roger Kaczynski. Sean Paulie has his eyes set on race leader Lorenzo Ricci, who's already coming into turn 15. Sean Paulie just entering the back straight here. Just a bit of information on Sean Paulie's career within the aero thus far. He has last won in aero competitions in 2022, and that was when he was racing for Inagami Korone in Hololive GT3, and where he basically swept the Fuji Summer races in the Split A season. And right now, Sean Paulie is going to try to bring Inagami Korone her first win in Formula Hololive. The first win for Inagami Korone for over a year and a half. Let's see if Sean Paulie can pull off a very nice win for all the Koroniskis. Oh, and as you can see here at the back, we have Turner and Kaczynski, battle of the big numerical Hololive VTubers, and as you can see here, Michael Turner manages to defend Kaczynski on the inside line at turn 4. Turn 5 is where a lot of dirty air comes. You really need to have a fast car to at least get close and challenge for positions coming into turn 7 and 8. But right now, nothing comes of it for now. Crystal Salomon also getting close to Callum Gibbons. Gen 0 battle might be brewing between these two. But right now, the gaps have said it's not close enough. Crystal Salomon coming across the next few corners here, 13 and 14. He needs to have a good exit to have a shot against Callum Gibbons here. The gap's now dropped down to 0.4 of a second, and now he has the advantage of slipstreams in the next part of the circuit here, and this part as well. He gets as close as 0.3 of a second to Callum Gibbons there, but he's going to go wide, and that's not going to do Salomon any favors in trying to catch Callum Gibbons here. Rustam Carrascio already backing up the field. Alcazar and Tararal trying to find his chances calmly this time, which should be again Tararal-like for him to at least try to bide his time, to at least stay calm on current situations. Looking into the current situations here, we're looking at Antanarao trying to still find a way past Russian Carrasco. Russian Carrasco obviously being the absolute truly train in front, and right now he is absolutely blocking the way of other drivers coming into from basically fourth and below, and that might open the door for Turner, Kaczynski, Domashnev, Ryba to at least try to mount a challenge for top 3. Actually, look at the amount of cars behind Russian Carrasco right now. Right now, Carrasco is absolutely struggling in this race. He's got a very good pace in qualifying, but his race pace just isn't there, which is actually the opposite of Christoph Salomon. Russian Carrasco coming around turn 1 right now. We're already on lap 12 of the Sepang Grand Prix split. The split A race right here. This will be the first race of the season, at least right now, for the Formula Hall Japan race weekend, as Raja Kaczynski coming down the inside of Michael Turner to try to challenge him into turn 4. They were already side by side exiting turn 2, but Michael Turner already has the outside line, which will turn into the inside line into turn 5. But look, as here, Raja Kaczynski isn't giving up on his chances just yet. And just wanted to check on the tires right now. You can see that the blisters are actually starting to form at the back, which actually means one thing: the tire degradation is really starting to kick in even just after 12 laps. So that is one thing that these drivers need to pay attention to. Those who can really manage their tires really well can at least try to get themselves in position to be consistent throughout the race. And as you can see here, Russian Carrasco, I'm gonna need to see if we can check his tires again. There we go. You can see here that there's a bit much less tire wear on Carrasco than there is towards Antanarao, Michael Turner. While the Masha and Kaminer Ryba also have a very good tire wear, as we're seeing right now. But meanwhile, we're looking at Sean Pauli. He has a lot of tire wear right now, which will not play to his advantages, even with clean air coming into the later stages of this race. Because if you look at Sean Pauli, he will actually only pit in the next 10 laps, so that might actually benefit him in a sense. But he's gonna need to be consistent in these next 10 laps if he wants to be sure of a very, very good result here in Sepang. He's already gunning for a very good result here with this second place run right now. But will it be enough for him? Will it be enough for him to catch Lorenzo Ricci up inside the race late? We'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, at the back, Jeff Clark trying to catch Johansson for 15th place. As we mentioned, the point system, we're using the standard point system, which runs from 1st to 15th, from 200 points from the winner to a single solitary point for those who finish in 15th place. So all is not lost for the drivers at the back to at least salvage a point or two, assuming that they don't crash out. Well, of course, Sepang International Circuit. Now it's we have Petronas getting the naming rights for this racing circuit, but of course we would avoid having corporate names on on venues, sporting venues. So that's why we're still calling it Sepang Circuit, even with the red curb still. But meanwhile, as we are looking into a new stage of development, Sean Pauli with the new fastest lap of the race so far, 1:43.8 for him, already a second faster than Rustim Carrasco, currently in 3rd place. So it'll be good for him if he wants to gun for that late race burst of pace against the race leader Ricci and Sean Pauli, who is actually catching the race lead in 2nd. Meanwhile, there's a battle between Callum Gibbons and Crystal Salomon, but it looks like it's Callum Gibbons has actually fallen down. Crystal Salomon now is up into 9th place. What have we told you about Crystal Salaman's qualities in the race? That is what we're seeing right now. Salaman is currently up in 9th position after starting basically 11th place. He's now up into 9th place and he's gonna try to get himself into the podium positions at least. Consistency is the name of his game, and his race pace is also the name of his game. That is what he's showing to everyone right now. The threat of lap cars very, very high. We could be seeing lap cars as early as lap 21 at this rate. Maybe not. Lap 24, lap 25 is when we might see lap cars on merit. But that's something that we need to pay attention. Well, Salaman coming across turns 12, 13, 14. You can see here there's also not much tire wear on him either. But you can see here he actually has a similar amount of tire wear to Rustam Karasio. Coming across the main straight here, and as you can see here, Antanarao trying to get close to Antanarao getting close to Karasio, but Karasio is doing very, very well there, maintaining his pace and all that. Even with a bit of a hit from Antanarao, Karasio is still able to progress very well in this race. He's doing very well there. Meanwhile, we have Fabio Mendes there. Again, a civil war between fellow Gen 6 members. As you can see here, Fabio Mendes about to have a challenge against Relio, who's currently up in 11th place. Both of them will be set in the Zarco positions unless they both can overtake Callum Gibbons, and even then, only one of them will be in the studio positions. Relio, of course, already having a pretty decent amount of tire wear at the back, as well as Fabio Mendes and the rest of the field, but the bigger question is that who has the worst tire wear? That is something that we also wanted to talk about. Oh, you can see here Fabio Mendes trying to go down the inside of Relio, but it's not going to be enough as it stands. And it's not enough for now. Cal Gibbons in 10th place. Relio is trying to catch in 11th. Sean Pauly starting to have a bit of a pace drop off here for Pauly right now, as he is currently down in 2nd place. Well, still up here in 2nd. He's just not close enough to Lorenzo Ricci for him to contest for the race win. Just looking into the current situations here in Sepang, just want to look into the mid-pack just a bit. Kaminari Reba is actually getting close to Vlasa Domashnev, and right now Domashnev is still losing only a slight touch to Raja Kaczynski there, and now Reba is going to try to pounce on the opportunity as early as possible. Obviously this is only half of Subachoko Lunatan, as the other half will be competing in Split B, and meanwhile we have Fabio Mendes and Relio going side by side. The Koyoklo battles are getting rife here, and we might be seeing an overtake here, but no overtakes have come so far. Fabio Mendes hasn't completed the pass on Relio. Ooh, you can see here Relio just losing touch on Callum Gibbons right now, so it's just going to be a battle on who has the better positions in a what looks to be a battle of vanity from what we're seeing, but I might digress. Meanwhile, Antanarao having the gaps drop down to now 0.4 of a second between himself and Rustam Karasio for basically the final podium positions. Antanarao, of course, had just a bit of context. First two races in the Hololive GT3, he hasn't had his best performances. He was involved in 2 accidents in both Autopolis and Sugo. And now Antanarao is gonna try to revive his racing chances of making it into the Suyo, at least in Hololive GT3, by aiming to perform well in Okayama and Fuji. And that is what Antanarao is targeting. And if Antanarao can just do that, he is in the right position to get himself back into where he should be. Right now, Antanarao also in a position where he should be. He's currently 4th in the Formula Hololive Japan race here in Sepang. It's the Sepang Grand Prix Split A race of the 2024 Formula Hololive Japan Qualifiers series. As you can see here, Antanarao gets really close there on Rustin Crasho, but just nothing comes out of it. Meanwhile, let's take a look back into the race field monitor to see who will be pitting. Who will be able to pit earlier in this race. Lorenzo Ricci having a very low tank of fuel right now, only 23 liters on his tank, so he's expected to be the first driver to come into the pits. And conversely, Chris Salman, Johan Sinful, Richie Rod, Jeff Clark, they're all going to be pitting very late in this race, and for them, they just need to hope that they have enough pace at the back to at least try to challenge for around, no, at least the top 10, because right now anything still goes. Alexander Antanarao trying to pile on the pressure on Crasho, but right now it's not going to be enough. Gaps between first and second, 11 seconds. Gaps between second and third, already 10 seconds. Antanarao needs to attack as soon as possible if he wants to have a shot of getting himself into the battle between himself and his gamer's teammate Sean Pauli. Speaking of which, very nice helmet there from Antanarao. Goes for that black and white approach, although the black is mostly just carbon black, but still it's a very nice livery for him to have. Fabio Mendes still actually losing touch there to Aurelio, so Aurelio is still winning in this battle. So if you're part of the Orca Racers, or you might call it the Sakamata Shiku, so Aurelio is in at least winning in this battle of this side of Holux. Unfortunately for them, Rustin Crasho is still in 3rd place and is doing a very good job of being a solid guy in the front of me, while Lorenzo Ricci is back on his feet. He has the fastest lap, but not before Sean Pauli has it once again, 1:43.697. So the leaders in front have a lot to fight for. Lorenzo Ricci, of course, having a pretty comfortable time at the front. Having an 11-second gap over Sean Pauli, which has been maintained since Sean Pauli took 2nd place, roughly. And also, you might want to take a look into the amount of tire wear on the right compared to the left, despite Sepang being a predominantly right-hand circuit. Rustin Crasho already having a pretty decent amount of wear. Same goes for Alderson and Tannerau. You can see here a lot of wear on the rear, so they're not going to capitalize much on the tire life for now. Speaking of engine providers for these cars, it's all pretty much a Honda show inside the top 10, except Calvin Gibbons, who runs Toyota engines in the back of his Formula Hololive car. Same goes for Ri Liu and Jeff Clark and Richie Rod. So the amount of Toyota power is actually quite limited compared to the amount of Honda power, which is absolutely what these drivers inside the top 10 except Gibbons have. And Tannerau still trying to get close to Rustin Crasho. Let's see here. Crusher having a very good exit off of that final corner here to at least stay ahead of Antanara on that main straight. Just giving him enough cover coming into turn 1 for him to preserve his spot in 3rd place. Very genius stuff there from Crusher. Meanwhile, let's take a look into the fuel monitor. And right now it is something to look out for. Sean Pauli is going to be the first driver to come into the pits to try his undercut strategy. Let's see if the undercut strategy will pay off immensely, because right now at the back there's a huge amount of traffic, and that will be a major risk for basically all of basically mostly just Lorenzo Ricci, but mostly for Sean Pauli, because he might exit in front of traffic, and that will not basically undo his attempt of trying to undercut in the pits and trying to gain an advantage by strategy. And meanwhile, you can see Antanara coming down the inside of Crusher, and that ended again very poorly for Antanara. He lost a good amount of time. He's made contact with Crusher once again, and Antanara lost a good amount of time against Crusher and Pauli, which isn't going to do him any favors in his battle for 3rd place. Lorenzo Ricci again, fastest slot of the race, 1:43.642. Will Sean Pauli be able to respond as he comes into the main straight? The answer is going to be no this time. Lorenzo Ricci manages to extend his lead just a bit. The gap's now around 11.3 seconds between the two leading cars. Rustin Caraccio, of course, also lost a good amount of time having made contact with Antanara, and right now he's just trying to stay where he is. And meanwhile, there's a battle between Roger Kaczynski and Michael Turner right at the back. And right now it's Kaczynski's position to take, as he's now in 5th place. "20 laps complete in Sepang for the Sepang Grand Prix Split A race of the 2024 Formula Hololive Japan Qualifiers, and right now it's pretty okay for now. There's not much racing action here, but you can see here also, if you look at the rear wings of the car, you can see that there are variants of how you approach the rear wing and all that stuff. You can see here Roger Kaczynski opts for a low downforce setup. Well, lower downforce setup than his other competitors. Just look at Lorenzo Ricci. He actually has is a bit more rear wing on his car. Same goes for the top 3. Alpha Santana has a pretty downforce heavy car, all things considered. So that's why you can see Santana really fighting in the corners and not actually getting close enough on the straights. Meanwhile, Roger Kaczynski is going for a low downforce setup and try to gain as much time on the straights. Same goes for Michael Turner as well. And Vaza Dabashev also having a pretty high downforce setup. Same goes for Riba, goes for Salman, but Calvin Gibbons actually has opted for a high downforce setup. High downforce means more grip in the corners, but less speed on the straights. So it's basically a battle of fine-tuning on where your car can really shine at their best in various points of the track. And right now, as we're seeing, opting for a medium type of downforce in this Sepang track actually does you wonders, because you have the 2 main straights in Sepang as well as a multitude of corners to work around with. So I guess a balanced downforce setup should be the priority for the drivers in front right now. But as it stands, that's the strategy that they are currently having right now. Sean Pauli getting very dangerously close to his pit field limits here, and you can see here Sean Pauli now down on his last few liters on his car. He's going to be expected to make a pit stop, and as you can see here, already 22 laps in, and that's a very good amount of tires being used relative to the other contestants here. Sean Pauli has a very high amount of tire degradation on his front right. So let's take a look into Sean Pauli as Lorenzo Ricci again sets another fast lap of this race. Sean Pauli comes in for his service of fuel and tires. Let's see where he ends up here. Crosio already coming into the back straight here, coming into the final corner. Sean Pauli coming across the pit lane to have his first service. He comes in, replaces his tires. There's Alston Tannerau trying to get close to Crosio once again. Meanwhile, we also have a potential battle here at the front. And right now, there's nothing coming out of it. Sean Pauli is still stationary in the pit lane. Curtis Salman is currently in the main straight. Callum Gibbons as well. Sean Pauli is still staying there. He's gonna really spend his time in the pit lane here. He's gonna really fill up the tank on his fuel. So that might explain why he's taking a long time to get himself fueled up. He should be able to steer clear of Alex Grant, and given that Fabio Mendes is already coming into approaching turn 4 and Sean Pauli is already in turn 1, Sean Pauli has a lot of clean air to work with. This undercut strategy by Sean Pauli might just work out in his favor after all. Lorenzo Ricci might just have to respond very quickly. He will respond as late as 3 laps later, which should be on lap 26. But right now, look at Sean Pauli right now, and you can see here, we might want to take a look into Lorenzo Ricci's lap time right now. 1:43.590 for the Italian driver here. Lorenzo Ricci, of course, continuing to bang in fast laps despite having a pretty worn out tire. He's just showing that he's got a lot of pace here in Malaysia, in Sepang. It's also pretty interesting to see, and just a bit. Anyways, back on to the racing scenarios here. We're looking at, just wanted to see the current situations here, and now you can see here Lorenzo Ricci coming. Still now he's actually being stuck behind what looks to be Richie Rod here at the back. So Lorenzo Ricci is gonna try to clear his fellow Babacon teammate, but actually Lorenzo Ricci is gonna lose a good amount of time here to Richie Rod, making contact between him as well, or something like that. Anyways, Ricci not happy with how Rod is driving him. That would also probably open the door for Sean Pauli to pull one back, and oh, you can see here Ricci is actually being pushed off aside by Richie Rod. Remember, no blue flag rules in Assetto Corsa, and right now Lorenzo Ricci is losing time slowly but surely against Richie Rod, who's currently down in last place. Richie Rod only at 1:46.828. Lorenzo Ricci has already lost a good amount of time. Lorenzo Ricci is gonna try to defend, attack coming into turn 1, but oh, you can see here he probably got a bit of a nudge there between Richie Rod here. But fortunately for Ricci, he is able to get himself clear of the lap car Richie Rod, and as we've expected, lap cars playing a good role in around starting on lap 24, 25, 26. Alright. Anyways, Antanarao still trying to catch Rustin Carrascio, but Carrascio just shows you that if you have enough straight line speed, you should be able to pretty much defend wherever you can, as long as you're in the ideal line. Excuse us. Well, we're gonna take on a short break here, as I'm still the sole commentator for all this. You can give us a few minutes. Actually, scratch that few minutes. It's only for a few seconds here, as right now we want to keep you guys updated on the situation here in this race. Rustin Crasho now still behind Lorenzo Ricci by about 20 plus seconds here. Now Lorenzo Ricci is going to finally commit himself into the pits. And right now Lorenzo Ricci's battle is with Sean Pauli, who has a lot of clean air with him right now. And if you look at the timetable that he has had right now, he's actually not been having the best time, even with this new tires and all that stuff. As you can see, his last lap was a 1:45.711, while Lorenzo Ricci was still able to set a 1:44.9, which should mean that Lorenzo Ricci is in a very good position to maintain his race lead. But that should also mean that the overcut strategy should be the strategy to go to, and Sean Pauli might have missed the mark very heavily. Lorenzo Ricci exits the pit lane currently in 7th place. He has done all he needed to do on his pit stop strategy, as he's now currently in 7th place. If this is the effects of the overcut strategy, hit later and lose less time in the pit and all that stuff, and also hope that your second stint is going to be isn't as bad as the first stint, then it should be good right now, because Lorenzo Ricci is currently in 7th place. Sean Pauli is currently down in 12th. It looks to me that Sean Pauli might have just missed the mark on as far as strategy goes, but at least Sean Pauli is still able to be there when it comes to getting results. Because remember, there's still some few performances that we need to pay attention to. Here's another good example: Jeff Clark against Richie Rod at the main straight here, starting lap, I believe lap 25. For them, or was that lap 26? Anyways, they're now going side by side between each other here, and it looks to me that it's going to be Richie Rod's battle to win. It's Jeff Clark's battle to lose, and of course, Clark has already lost it. Rod has already won it. Positions traded, although no points will be on offer as they are right now. It should still be okay, as these two might still have a chance against Johan Sinfo, who's also not performing very well in 15th place. We're about to come into the halfway stages of the Sepang Grand Prix Split A race here in Malaysia. And right now it's the first of 5 races in the qualifiers. It's one of 4 races under the current format, as in the 5th Fast weekend, which should also include the Capture the Moment Grand Prix at Fuji. This would also mean that there will be a custom format for the weekend itself. So if there might be some points discrepancies, then don't mind, because it's literally because of the unusual format that we're going to be using during the 5th Fest weekend. So we've already explained this on Twitter as to how the format works, on how the special weekend format will be functioning. But long story short, there will be 3 splits for 3 points paying races. Of course, we got split C drivers for the 5th West weekend in both splits A and B. So hopefully we don't really mind them, especially given the fact that we want to try to systemize the schedule for as much as we can. Anyways, we're officially crossed the halfway stages of this race. Well, not exactly. We're almost there. But anyways, Rustin Crasho currently leads for Lapless Darkness once again, but this is only through pit stop cycles. Lorenzo Ricci has already pitted. And look, you can see his gap between himself and the leader is actually only like 10 seconds. So he's actually lost very little lap time here. But obviously, we also want to take into account tire wear that might be a factor because both Ricci and Paulie hit pretty late in this race. And now Tannerau is going to try to dive on down the inside of Rustin Caraccio. Oh, and you can see Rustin Caraccio just managing to hold off the Tannerau on the outside line in turn 7 and 8. And now this will open the door for Raiji Kaczynski to probably steal a position or two. He's trying to channel his inner Indian style here, Raiji Kaczynski here, with his nationalistic colored helmet. Of course, he's got the Indian tricolor of orange, white, and green, as well as India's national sporting color of blue. And of course, when the name Virat Kohli is mentioned, Raiji Kaczynski is also pretty excited about it, as how all Indians view Virat Kohli. He is a national legend in Indian sports, and he should be revered in such a way. But that's not the main important matter here in this race in Sepang, as Kaczynski is going to try to find a way past Alderson Tannerau, who's going to try to get himself past Rustin Caraccio. And you can see here Lorenzo Ricci doesn't have the pace that he usually has. Like if you look at the drivers who have yet to pit, they're still on a 144. Look at Lorenzo Ricci and Sean Paulie, they're now struggling with a 145. The overcut strategy might just be the strategy for everyone after all, as you can see here Ricci and Paulie have been struggling to meet their pace from their first stint. Fabio Mendes now coming into the pits. He's now only the third driver to come into the pits, and really finding a good amount of burnout here at the exit of the pit lane. And now Fabio Mendes comes across the start-finish line and back into the race in 13th place. Doesn't really beat Sean Paulie, but actually has gained a good amount of time on Paulie. He's now only 13 seconds behind Sean Paulie. Something to be interested about in terms of as far as how gaps go. And okay, now we're officially in the halfway stages of this race. Rustin Caraccio still in the lead of this race. Alderson Tannerau not far behind, but Tannerau has a pretty good slipstream support. Hopefully he isn't going to muck it up in the final corner of the race. Meanwhile, we have Richie Roy actually overtaking Johan Sinful for the final points positions here. Ron's going to come out with a singular point, and that might be crucial with how much fine margins the series basically accounts for. And Tannerau is actually a tenth of a second faster than Caraccio, so maybe, just maybe, watch out for Tannerau and Caraccio, as they might be late race contenders after all. And look at Salman, who's now also in 8th place, trying to defend against Salman in 8th place, trying to defend Gibbons in 9th. Exciting moment in the air here in Sepang for what should be a very cracking race so far. We have some great racing moments. We have some contact. We have some interesting pit stop strategies going around. Lorenzo Ricci and Sean Paulie going very early on their pit stop, and it's currently backfiring on them pretty much. Ricci is actually losing a bit of touch there to Kavanagh Riba, who is actually yet to pit. So everyone's gonna try to at least stretch their fuel for as long as they can, and extend their overcut strategy for as much as they can before they will inevitably have to pit. Right now we also have Alderson Tannerau trying to catch Rustin Caraccio once again. Rustin Caraccio just proves to be unpassable with his lower downforce setup, and now you can see here Alderson Tannerau finally committing to his pit stop strategy, and Tannerau's opponent is Sean Paulie and Lorenzo Ricci. Since he's pitting later than usual, he might just be able to gain a bit more time on Lorenzo Ricci. However, Lorenzo Ricci is already barreling down the main straight, so Lorenzo Ricci might still be the net race leader. And so right now the battle is between Tannerau and Sean Paulie. And Sean Paulie is only at the exit of turn 14. And Taro has already made himself stationary inside the pits, and now you can see here, both the Mashnev and Antaro have completed their pit stops pretty briskly, and this will allow Antaro to have a shot at least a very good finish inside the podium. The dynamics of the race have completely changed, this time in favor of the drivers at the back, especially for Antaro, who have actually tried to consider a later pit stop strategy, and right now it's probably going to pay himself a good amount of dividends, as right now, look at where Sean Pauli is. He's still down in 11th place, and Antaro has actually beaten Sean Pauli. And crucially, Vlasa Damashev is also actually quite close to Althusser and Antaro as well, so Damashev might actually have some pace in him that should mean that he should be able to contest for at least the podium. The race is still on. Vlasa Damashev currently in 10th place, trying to find a way past Althusser and Antaro here. And actually trying to catch up to Antaro, but that's not the thing we need to talk about here. Rustin Crusher has been overtaken by Raja Kaczynski using the slipstream in the main straight, coming into turn 1 to his good effect. Kaczynski actually has managed to pass Rustin Crusher, both of them running running almost equal aero setups here. Raja Kaczynski is actually going for a low downforce setup, so he can actually exploit the amount of speed at the straights. That should explain why Raja Kaczynski was able to actually make the pass on Rustin Crusher. Raja Kaczynski now inside the race lead. The next drivers to come into the pits, we might take a look into Kaminari Riba, as well as Raj Kaczynski as well as Michael Turner. So it's pretty convenient that we see Raj Kaczynski coming into some serious pace right now. Even if he's going to lead in this very brief moment, it counts as a race. Counts himself as leading the race regardless. As you can see here, Kaczynski is really making use of his in-lap to try to get close as possible to the front runners, especially against Lorenzo Ricci and Althusser and Antaro. And right now, Raja Kaczynski battling down the back straight here with extremely worn tires. Let's see where he will end up. And now Rustin Crusher will reassume his position inside the race lead here, making the pass on Raja Kaczynski once again. But as we've seen here, it's not going to be the only one that comes into the pits. Kaczynski and Turner, the two drivers that will come into the pit lane right now. Let's take a look where Althusser and Antaro is. He is currently at the back straight. Where Lorenzo Ricci is currently past them both. He will still hang on to this provisional race lead right now. He still has Coraccio and Riba, who have yet to pit. Also, we also want to take a look at Cal Gibbons, who have also pitted. Kaczynski and Turner already barreling down the main straight here. Antaro has already dispatched the two drivers of Kaczynski and Turner for him to solidify his place in second place. And crucially enough, Vladislav Damashev has overtaken Turner and Kaczynski by pit stop strategy to get himself into third place. Pauli and Gibbons, just got now. He's currently exiting in 12th place, overtaken by both Sean Pauli and Alex Grant. And Tyler Williams also making his decision to come into the pit lane. Meanwhile, the battle at the back is now dropped down to Sinful and Clark. Richie Rod still hanging around in 15th place, but of course Tyler Williams have already pitted. Richie Rod has yet to pit. Looking at Rustin Coraccio, he's already exiting turn 15. Meanwhile, we also have Jeff Clark and Johan Sinful barreling down the main straight side by side, coming into turn 1. Ooh, not much really separating between the two, but you can see here Jeff Clark actually manages to have a bit of an edge against Johan Sinful at the outside of turn 2 for him to steal 16th place. Looking into the current situations here, no gaps are above a second from what we're seeing right now, except Kaczynski and Turner, and that's pretty much it, because Clark and Sinful's gap have now opened up to a second. So let's take a bit of a short break, a short reception break, and talk about some Hololive matters in the next month or two. We also have the the fifth fest, true, but we also want to talk about the raft of new outfits that we have been seeing amongst Hololive members, especially for IMA, who is being represented by Jeff Clark. Nice tracksuit outfit for her, just looking very casual. It should be a very good outfit for anyone to sleep with. And Roboco, for being represented by Calum Gibbons, it's a very nice outfit from what we're seeing as well. It's a dress, a simple one. It can go a long way. And with this outfit, especially with you know, it looks pretty nice. It should be formal enough for parties. But then again, I'm not a fan. I'm not a professional on outfits, so that's not where I should be putting my detailed my detailed opinions on. Meanwhile, we are looking into more battles probably on the horizon. This time it's between Ri Liu and Alderson Tarao, currently between each other's strokes, and Tarao actually having a slightly fresher tires there against Ri Liu. Ri Liu's lap time is actually 1:47.112, and Tarao's pace is 1:45.567. So Tarao really needs to make use of the exit of turn 2 to try to really think of a move here, or rather he thinks of a move down at turn 2 again, and Tarao makes contact with Ri Liu, with another driver, and this time it's Ri Liu, and that's not gonna do him any favors once again. He really needs to find the right place and the right time to overtake it. Right now is not the right time for him to overtake. Might just be the right place, but the timing is a bit off. And as you can see here, Tarao having some pretty superior pace at the exit of turn 7 and 8. Will he think of a dive bomb down the inside of turn 9? That will not be the case for now. The Tarao is still behind Ri Liu for now. And as you can see here, will we see more pit stop activity? We will have one in the form of Kaminari Reba, who is currently at turn 15 and coming into the pits right now. We're about to come to 20 laps to go here in the Sepang Grand Prix Split A race here, and now you can see here Kaminari Reba coming into the pit lane for himself. Lorenzo Ricci currently in second place, trying to still maintain his position in the race lead. His nearest competitor is of course Alderson Tarao, but he's currently being held up by Ri Liu. Is currently in 5th place. Ri Liu is gonna hang around in his first stint for as long as he can. And as you can see here, Kaminari Reba using his pit lane strategy to good effect here. He's now only lost a few positions here. He's now actually in P7, trying to defend against what looks to be Michael Turner in 8th place. But Reba's doing very well to hang around in his position, and he is doing just fine. Very nice. Once we come into lap 37, we will now have 37, once we come into lap 37, we will now say that we will have 20 laps to go here in Sepang. Meanwhile, we're taking a look into other scenarios here. We're looking into other battles that might be forming here. Turner and Kaczynski is actually getting pretty close to Ripa. But Ripa is going to have his tire warm-ups pretty complete, so that won't be too much of an issue. The bigger issue comes in between the battle for 4th place, Ryu against Antanarao and Damashnev. Antanarao really needs to have a very good exit off of turn 14. Don't commit in the middle of the corner. Commit at the end of the corner to set up yourself for the back straight, and that is not what Antanarao is doing. He tried to think of a move at around turns 13 and 14, and that's not going to do him any favors. Now he's going to be under pressure from Vladislav Damashnev. 20 laps to go here in the Sepang Grand Prix Split A race, and now I can see here Antanarao trying to get close to Ryu in the corners, because we can see here Ryu actually having a pretty pretty balanced downforce setup against Antanarao. This is a high downforce setup. Ryu is doing very well here to defend his 4th place. Also, let's take a look into Crystal Salman, who has also yet to pit. We are looking into a few more drivers that have yet to pit. Alex Grant, Richie Rod, Jeff Clark, Johan Sinful, Rustin Caraccio alongside Salman and Ryu. And now you can see here Antanarao is now under pressure from Vladislav Damashnev. But Antanarao currently manages to defend. But the big question is, for how much longer? Antanarao is going to try to defend for as long as he can. And now he gets pretty close to Ryu. Will he think of a move down the inside? Will he be aggressive enough once again? The answer is going to be no. Oh, you can see here Ryu locked up in the middle of turn 9. That might open the door for Antanarao to sneak in an overtake. But for now, the answer is going to be no for now. Sinful and Clark trading blows between each other at turn 1 here. Now you can see here lap cars getting in the way of Rustin Caraccio, but Rustin Caraccio doesn't need to mind about that too much. He's gonna go very long on his setup here. He only has 4 seconds ahead of Lawrence Ricci, and he knows that he might not be able to defend his race lead up to this point. Meanwhile, there's another battle between Antanarao and Damashnev, and this time Antanarao still manages to defend Damashnev. Well, but Ryu is not going to lose his position here for now, and now Damashnev comes down the inside of Antanarao coming into turn 1, but it looks to me that Damashnev might just be able to overtake Antanarao after all, but Antanaro's not going to give it up just yet. Damashnev right across the inside manages to overtake Antanarao for what should be a net 2nd place, but Antanaro's not giving up. He's going to dive down the inside. He's going to go for it. But will it be enough? Coming into turns 5 and 6, this might be the place where Damashnev might struggle a bit, and this is where Antanarao can get very, very closer. You see here on the radar. Not close enough here for Antanarao for now. You see here Damashnev kind of struggles in the corners, but excels in the straights. But you can see here Antanarao still trying to... making contact between the two there, Antanarao and Damashnev here. And now they'll open the door for Riba, Turner, and Kaczynski to maybe steal something away from these two. Ryu yet to pit. But right now there's no decision just yet. Crystal Salman might be the first driver to come into the pit lane, as well as Rustim Caraccio in the next 2 laps. And right now, this battle here right now, we have the Ryu driving for Sakamata Kolo in car number 96, still stuck in 4th place, not still having yet to pit against Vladislav Damashnev and Alson Antanarao. And now you can see here Kaminari Riba trying to defend against, that looks to me, Michael Turner in 8th place. Oh, it looks to me that Michael Turner diving down the inside on Riba for 7th place here, and it looks to me that he might just be able to get the move done. Riba isn't going to take it lying down, but he's too far back. It's Michael Turner's 7th place. Lots of action here in Sepang, in the Sepang Grand Prix Split A race. This time Antanarao gets pretty close there to Vlasa Damashnev once again. Antanarao is going to try to pull one back against Damashnev. Damashnev's going to think of a defense. Antanarao is going to think of an attacking move. He's thinking of a dive bomb. He nearly makes contact with Damashnev once again. And this time he's going to try to force Damashnev off wide and onto the dirty line. But that's not going to do him. That's not going to phase him. And for now, it's still Antanarao trying to pile on the pressure on Damashnev. And now he's also going to have to think of Michael Turner as Rustin Carrasco finally pits. He might just be able to exit in second place if he can get his stop strategies absolutely correctly. Carrasco is still stationary in the pit lane. Ryu at the end of, around the middle of turn 15. Carrasco still stationary once again. Damashnev and Antanarao currently on the main straight. Rustin Carrasco is finally on the move, but will it be enough for Carrasco to at least hang around in second place? Ryu has made the pass. Damashnev has made the pass. It seems. And it looks to me that Carrasco should be able to have a net third place once Ryu pits and Antanarao drop down to the outside of the podium position as it stands. Krzysztof Salomon exits in 10th place just behind Sean Pauli, Raji Kaczynski, and Kaminai Ryba, but his odds of getting inside the top 5 is still not lost on him. The gaps between Lorenzo Ricci and Vlasa Damashnev still at around 0.7 seconds, now 0.8, between around 27 to 28 seconds now between first and third right now. We are not going to mind much on Ryu because Ryu has yet to pit. He's actually one of the last drivers who have yet to pit. Alongside Richie Raw, Johan Sinful, and Jeff Clark. Watch out for them as they might be something to look out for in these final stages of this race, especially for Ryu, who has done very well to get himself into the podium positions for as long as he did in this race in the Sakamata Koi number 96. 16 laps to go here in Sepang, and the action is yet to be concluded. Oh, and as you can see here at the back here, you might see Michael Turner trying to defend against Kaminai Ryba. And now Kaminai Ryba trying to move down the inside of Michael Turner once again. Ooh, side by side coming up between the two. And it looks to me that Ryba might just be able to hang around, but it's not going to be enough. Michael Turner manages to defend. Now Raji Kaczynski is going to try to go for the opportunity for him to be in the race lead for himself. Gap's pretty much neutral between Ricci and Damashnev. Just feels very weird. Sean Pauli thought that pitting early might just give him the advantage he needed, but he pitted way too early and he spent a lot of time in the pit lane, and also at the same time he's not getting the performances getting his pit stop strategies aced as a result. He is now down in 9th place for now, but it's not gonna be nice for Sean Pauli. After starting in the top end of the field, he's not gonna end up in the midfield. Richie Rod finally making his decision to come into the pits. Richie Rod already just starting to peel into the pits. Tyler Williams will look to clear Richie Rod immediately, as well as Johan Sinful. That will put Richie Rod out of the points for now. Lorenzo Ricci is against Johan Sinful and Tyler Williams at the same time. And right now, as Lorenzo Ricci manages to clear these two cars with relative ease, Ricci might have only lost like 2 or 3 seconds, but if he manages to clear Tyler Williams with ease, and that will not be the case, Lorenzo Ricci is still stuck behind Tyler Williams. Vlasa Damashnev and Rustin Carrasco might sniff an opportunity if this continues. Lorenzo Ricci must clear the lap car of Tyler Williams as soon as possible, and right now it's not working very well. You can see here the gap closing between second and third to the race leader on an alarming basis. And now you can see here Ricci tries to clear Tyler Williams once again, but Tyler Williams is providing a massive headache to Ricci, and Ricci's gonna try to force his move once again at turn 11. Will he be able to stick? Tyler Williams is actually alongside. Oh, there's contact between the two, but it looks to me that Lorenzo Ricci finally is able to clear. That would have been a massive freak accident if that happened, if these two weren't careful. But for now, it's looking safe enough for Lorenzo Ricci. Still in control of this race. In absolute control, by the way. Really, I think it looks to me that it's Johansson for finally coming into the pits. He might just have to concede his points position as well. That will leave both Johansson and Ricci Rod, both two Gen 1 cars out of the running for the points, but at least we have Vlasa Damasha trying to challenge for the race win once again here in Sepang, as well as Lorenzo Ricci, who is on the odds-on favorite to win here in the Sepang Grand Prix Split A race. Oh, potential side-by-side battles here. We might be seeing at the back that looks like Rajazinski and Michael Turner, but that is not going to be the case. Right now, the battle for the top spot is now going to be between Damashnev and Rustam Karasio. But, of course, we also have Ricci Rod to contend with these drivers from second on back. The battle for second might still not be lost on the Lorenzo Ricci, still in control of the race proceedings here in Sepang. 14 laps to go here in Sepang, and right now the action has yet to conclude. Ricci Rod still giving Damashev a pretty decent amount of headaches. Speaking of which, let's take a look into the progress charts, and as you can see, Damashev has gained 5 positions from the start here. It could very well be 4 if he wasn't careful against Rustam Karasio, and Tanara has lost 2 positions from his start. He started on the front row, he's now dropped down to 4. Sean Pauly lost actually 3 positions. He's actually started 5th and was in contention for the race lead, but because he had a very good start, that actually allowed him to get very close to what's basically the race lead. But now Ricci Rod is going to be overtaken by what should be Vlasa Damashev with ease, as Ricci Rod just pulls aside for his fellow Gen 1 teammate. Doesn't want to cause too much trouble. Now Jeff Clark comes into pit. Now Ricci Rod's going to be in the 15th position. And now you can see Ricci Rod just not giving too much trouble to Damashev, Miwa, Antanara, and Karasio going side by side once again. 2 border cars once again battling up between each other, and just now we saw Antanara banging bodywork and wheels against Karasio. But that seems to pay off for now, as Antanara stamps his authority in 3rd place against Rustam Karasio. Antanara is back into the podium positions. Antanara's expectations are simple heading into end-free race. Just be there and hope for the best. But he wasn't expecting this result right now, as he's currently in 3rd place. The one thing that he needs to do for Antanara, the one thing Antanara needs to do for him to have a very good result is to just stay where he is in 3rd place and just remain there. Just don't muck up his already good position by making unnecessary challenges. And right now he doesn't need to make any sort of unnecessary challenges. He'll only pass when it is necessary for him to pass, and sometimes he might go overboard, and when he does go overboard, he will actually get punished as a result. And right now he is on a wrong place to try to overtake Ricci Rod, and that'll open the door for Rustam Karasio to probably attack. And now, speaking of Rustam Karasio, Karasio is at the inside of Antanara, coming into the final corner, and now Antanara is gonna try to clear Ricci Rod himself. who's gonna be better in utilizing this lap car of Richie Rod as a pick? Alcantara is going to be the answer. And right now, Alcantara in third place still. Russell Croshaw actually managing to clear Richie Rod. It will now be Antara currently in third place, Croshaw 4. Kaczynski and Ryba trade places between each other once again. Kaczynski is now up into 6. Anyways, Roger Kaczynski currently in 6th place as he is done very well with his performances so far. Just want to talk about Lorenzo Ricci's performances. He has been absolutely great here. Pole position here in Sepang, leading a very good amount of laps. I think he's going to be set to lead the most laps here in Sepang in what should be a very, very convincing performance for Jose Marine and all the Chimis watching. Apologies for the background audio once again. Unfavorable internet locations mean I have to stream in pretty public areas. Apologies for that. Meanwhile, Roger Kaczynski trying to catch Michael Turner for 5th place. Ooh, I think that he's made contact with Michael Turner there at turn 2, and now he has to back off. He's going to be under real pressure from Ryba and Pauly. And now, speaking of Sean Pauly, he's going to go down the inside of Ryba for what should be 7th place on his attempt to limit the damages from his early pit stop. And right now, Ryba still managing to defend his 7th place. Meanwhile, we could be seeing another side-by-side battle here in the front. That looks to me that is Ryba and Kaczynski. Ryba is going to try his luck to try to challenge his fellow Chocoluna time teammate here on the inside at turn 11 here, coming into turn 12 here. Because Ryba trying to hang around the outside of Kaczynski, and Ryba really trying to stretch his legs here. And now Sean Pauly is getting into the mix. Ryba is now in 6th, and Sean Pauly, ooh, gets very close there to Roger Kaczynski, but for now, Pauly might be thinking of a move against Kaczynski. Gets close. Sean Pauly dives down the inside, makes the move. Well, you can see here, both drivers going side by side once again. They're both neck and neck coming across the start-finish line. Oh, Kaczynski tries to block, but it's not going to be enough. Sean Pauly, ooh, you can see here, Kaczynski trying to weave at the straight here as Sean Pauly goes alongside. Ooh, and Sean Pauly should have no problems here at the exit of turn 2, and that should mean that Roger Kaczynski should be dropped down to 8th place. It's Sean Pauly's to 7th, but it's not going to be the case for long. Kaczynski's going to try to fight back. Around the outside goes Sean Pauly in his defense. And that should be Sean Pauly's 7th place secured. Alcantara still in 3rd place, now trying to challenge Vladislav Domashnev for 2nd place. Lorenzo Ricci still in a comfortable race lead, never mind that for now. And Tanaro gets very close there to Domashnev, nearly hitting the back of him once again. And Tanaro really needs to make use of the corner setup into the main straights here, and now you can see here in Tanaro trying to get close to the Masha. Meanwhile, we have Turner and Ryba also trading both between each other. Ryba is trying to make an overtake on Turner, but Turner is showing a very good defensive maneuver for him to stay inside the top 5. Ryba is really showing up in this latter stages of this Sepang Grand Prix Split A race. Alexander tries to get close to Vlasta Domashnev. He has some time gained, but I feel like I don't think it's going to be enough. Alexander does improve by about 2-3 tenths of a second, and Karasha just set his personal best right now. His battle against Antara might not be over just yet. Back into the race right now, and Tannerau still leads Parasio by around 1.5 seconds in third place right now. And right now we have Aurelio and Fabio Mendes now going side by side, and you can see here the battle between the two Hololive cars are still continuing here. Fabio Mendes finally gonna try to have an opportunity, and actually puts Aurelio into a spin, but Aurelio manages to continue. That's some very controversial driving there from Fabio to push Leo off like that, but I think it's just Leo clipping the curb and putting too much gas at the exit of turn 4, which will usually result in a spin. So that should explain why Leo have basically spun on that corner. So that should be Leo down in 12th place, and now Fabio Mendes finally getting the leg up on his fellow Hololive teammate. Sylvester Salman and Callum Gibbons currently in the final Suyo spots here. As you can see here, Turner and Riba going side by side once again. Riba's going to try his luck to get himself into the top 5 once again, trying to use Richie Rod as a pick. Meanwhile, Sean Paul is going to try to defend 7th place. Riba's going to try to defend 5th place. It's a double side by side maneuver coming into turn 1. But we're going to be focusing on Riba and Turner specifically. Riba is going to be blocked by Richie Rod, who is not going to let these drivers pass him. On each turn, it's going to cause a lot of kerfuffle for the battle for 5th place. Meanwhile, Rasim Karasho catching up to Alton Tanara, who's lost touch a bit to Vlasta Domashnev. Meanwhile, Turner and Riba trading both between each other once again. Turner is now back up into 5th place. Alton Tanara currently in 3rd place against Vlasta Domashnev and Lorenzo Ricci. Meanwhile, we also have Riba and Turner going side by side once again, and it looks to me that Turner still has that very good defensive driving against Cameron Riba, who is actually faster than Michael Turner by quite the margin. But Riba really needs to take into account if he passes Michael Turner, then he's going to be pretty much open to a counterattack. And right now, Richie Rod should be the catalyst on who is going to be winning these battles. And right now, we only have like over 6.5 laps to go of this Sepang Grand Prix. The race nearly coming into its conclusion. Richie still in control of this race for Hosho Marine. He's doing very, very well there. Wherever he's standing right now. And Tarao and Karasio, meanwhile, have caught up to the back of Vladislav Domashnev. Both of them trying to find a way to get 2nd place, which is basically the best that they could try after Richie absolutely showed the field his potential. Alright, and so right now, as far as the leading drivers go, meanwhile, as we've seen here, Ryu now actually has pulled one back against Fabio Mendes here. Now Ryu has overtaken the number 54 Hakui Koyori driver in what was 11th place. He now has 11th place, Ryu. So right now, we're looking into the final stages here. We're looking at Antenaro and Karasio trying to overtake Vlasa Domashnev. Roger Kaczynski still trying to get close to Ribot and Turner from what we're seeing here. Michael Turner is still finally actually getting past the lap car of Richie Rod, and so that should be the battle for P5 settled. Now the remaining battles here should be around a battle for P6, in which Kaminari Riba is going to try to clear Richie Rod right now, but let's see where it leads to. Ooh, Riba is trying to hang it around the inside, tries to clear, and right now he's doing very well to do so on the inside line. But Richie Rod is gonna try to fight back. Oh, you can see here, Riba is trying to hold off Richie Rod's advancements. But as it stands right now, Riba should be able to hold off Rod's advancement, and that should be P6 secure. Now, the remaining battles should be in between 7th, 8th, and 9th. Crystal Salman, who has gained 2 positions from his racetrack, is going to try to make a move against Sean Pauli down the inside of turn 4. But it's not going to be enough for now. Sean Pauli, with a good outside line, manages to defend his 8th place for now, as Crystal Salman tries to find a way past Sean Pauli. Still at 6 laps to go. Lorenzo Ricci is about to cross the start-finish line, which should be 5 laps to go. Alcin Chanra trying to catch Vlasa Damashnev for 2nd place, but still nothing comes of it. And Chanra trying to find a way past Damashnev, but right now it's not going to do much favors. He's lost touch to Damashnev. Rustam Karashio has the inside line of Antanarao coming into turn 15. They're both side by side at the main straight. Antanarao tries to defend. Karashio is now down the inside. Who's going to break later into turn 1? It looks to me that Karashio might just be able to have 3rd place in the bag after all. And Antanarao tries to defend. They both make contact. And Antanarao is worst off once again. And Antanarao loses his chance of the podium once again. Rustam Karashio now up in 3rd. Will he be able to properly challenge Damashnev in these final 5 laps? The new fastest lap of this race surprisingly now goes to Ri Liu, who now takes a 143.9. Again, let's take a look into his helmet. Pretty nice design choice for Ri Liu to have a black and white helmet. Anyways, Lorenzo Ricci still having very good amounts of control of this race. Tyler Williams has already been lapped from what we're seeing. Ricci has yet to lap Alex Grant, but Tyler Williams has already been lapped. So we only have 13 drivers finishing on the lead lap. And barring any last lap passes, let's take one more look into the progress charts. Kaminari Riba obviously gains a lot of positions from his starting position of 10th. He's now up into 6th. Vlasan Damashnev has gained a lot of positions from his 7th place start. He is now up into 2nd place. Lap 53, 4 laps to go here in Sepang. Barring any crazy stuff, Lorenzo Ricci might just be able to have this race win in the bag. And right now, Ricci just doing very, very well there to just stay where he is. As far as the performance of the Gen 1 cars go, it's pretty woeful at the moment. Johansson fall down in 16th place. Richie Rod in 15th place. Again, another fastest lap by Ri Liu, 143.379. So obviously a sight to behold. But fear not for all you Gen 1 fans. Vlasa Damashnev is in 2nd. And as you can see here, Sean Pauli tries to clear Richie Rod once again. And as you can see here, Kaczynski has already cleared the lap car of Richie Rod. And speaking of Damashnev, he's doing very well for Gen 1 representation. He is currently in second place for Aki Rosenthal, trying to really perform in Formula Hololive as well as Hololive GT3. He wants to perform well in both series for the sake of Aki Rosenthal. And you know, for all Rosenthal watching, that should be a win because he's tried. We got a very committed Rosenthal member who is currently up in second place, who is trying his best to challenge for race wins. That's the quality that the Rosenthal are looking for when it comes to who is going to represent Aki Rosenthal in these sorts of competitions. Meanwhile, we also have Alison Tarao and Rustin Krasho actually waiting in the wings to find a way past Plaza Domashnev here. 3 laps to go here in Sepang. Lorenzo Ricci is already in around turns 5 and 6. Right now, there's not much battles to look out for, but let's take a look back into Lorenzo Ricci's performances in Sepang in Formula Hololive. He's only had 2 starts in Sepang, and he has already won once in the Sepang Grand Prix Split A Split B race last year. This year, he might try to do doing the double. He's gonna try to he's gonna be on course to defend his position, to defend his title as Sepang Grand Prix winner. He's done it in Split B. He's gonna do it in Split A. It's a bit of a contrast here. The only constant that he drives for Hosho Marine in Formula Hololive, and he drives in Sepang. But the difference in last year's race is that the race last year took place at night, and he was in Split B. This time, Lorenzo Ricci is in Split A, and the race is being held in broad daylight. And it's soon going to come to an end with Lorenzo Ricci in control of this race, having led the most laps out of anyone so far. Will he be able to see out these final 2 laps? We'll have to wait and see. Krasio and Tanneral trying to catch it to Domashnev, but for now, Krasio might just have one last hope on trying to catch Plaza Domashnev and steal second place away on his Formula Hololive debut. Tyler Williams is still hanging around in 14th place despite all the odds. Salman continuing his top 10 run despite not having the pace that he had in this race so far. Meanwhile, as we're about to take a look into Lorenzo Ricci once again, let's say have a bit of a story. Hosho Marine, very talented virtual YouTuber. She, of course, has over millions of subscribers on her YouTube channel. She has a lot of fans that are up to her content. She is also a very talented idol, a very talented person that can draw. She's got a lot of sets and skills that hopefully should be an example for a lot of viewers and her fans alike. Lorenzo Ricci is, of course, one of them. He is doing very well to represent Hosho Marine in Formula Hololive, which is a competition for racing cars with Hololive colors. And with Lorenzo Ricci coming across the start-finish line to start the final lap of the race in the lead, he's going to cement. He's probably gonna try to cement himself as one of the greatest drivers in Sepang. Shadrin Reza has been known to be quite successful in Sepang, in Hololive GT3 in 2022 specifically, and still to this day very much so. Well, Lorenzo Ricci will be joining him in that territory for most wins in Sepang if he's able to. Actually, just wanted to change that info. Shadrin Reza has not won consecutive time, has not won more than once in Sepang. We apologize for that mishap of information. Lorenzo Ricci might just be one of those few drivers who have won on the same track twice, so that's still already an achievement in itself. Questions might still be asked though about Crystal Salman and Sean Pauli still trying to battle it out for the final what's basically a battle for P8 in the final laps of this race. Will Salman be able to win it around? He's gonna go really aggressive around the borders of the main straight coming into turn 1. Around they're still side by side. Sean Pauli's gonna hang it around. Sean Pauli manages to defend. It's Sean Pauli's 8th place for now. Lorenzo Ricci only has 3 more corners to go for him to secure the win here in the Sepang Grand Prix Split A race of the 2024 Formula Hololive Japan Qualifiers race. It's said that Hosha Marine is without sin, is sinless basically. She is innocent and all that stuff, but we'll leave that up to the interpretation of all of our viewers. Lorenzo Ricci has won a near perfect race here in Sepang and takes the win here in the Sepang Grand Prix Split A race of the 2024 season. An amazing performance all around for Lorenzo Ricci, who manages to defend his title as a Formula Hololive race winner in Sepang and has actually grabbed his second win at this track. Meanwhile, Sean Pauli and Crystal Salomon trading blows between each other in the final lap of the race. And right now, it's Sean Pauli's 8th place to lose. Vlasa Damashev comes across the final corner, managing to overcome the odds. Started 7th, has now climbed up into 2nd. Vlasa Damashev secures his podium in what should also be a redemption run. Carrazio finishes 3rd in his Formula Hololive debut. Very good stuff from him. Altasar and Tararo should be happy that he should have this 4th place finish. With all of the with everything going against him, he should be happy with this result. Pauli defends 8th against Salomon in 9th. Turner 5th, Riba 6th, Kaczynski 7th. Williams and Roth 14th and 15th respectively. Gibbons is going to go side by side with the lap car of Jeff Clark. Johansson will be 16th. Clark 17th. Gibbons and Liu 10th and 11th. Fabio Mendez and Alex Shaw will look to finish 12th and 13th. Apologies for the background audio once again. We had to do this in public areas because of the horrible internet in private areas. So apologies for the unnecessary background audio. Anyways, apologies for the background audio once again. We have Lorenzo Ricci winning the race by a staggering 34 seconds over Vlasa Damashev. That's a very convincing race win for the Ichimi watching, as well as Vlasa Damashev, who has actually redeemed himself from his blunders in the previous race in Sepang at Split B, where he actually crashed out against leaders on the final lap when he was actually competing for the race win. So it's a great result for Vlasa Damashev, as well as Rustin Carrazio actually finishes 3rd on his Formula Hololive debut. Alcantara finishes 4th, Michael Turner 5th, Kavine Riba 6th, Raji Kaczynski 7th, Sean Pauli 8th, Crystal Salomon 9th, and Callan Gibbons finishes inside the final studio spots. First driver in the Zaco spots is Rio Leo alongside Fabio Mendez. Rio Leo wins this battle for now in the battle between the Koyo Klo cars. Alex Grant is 13th place in the last, basically as the last car on the lead lap. Then we have a first driver lap down, which is Tyler Williams and Richie Rott in 15th with the last point paying positions. We'll be going to the championship standings right after this. Johan Sinfold 16th and Jeff Clark is 17th, and they will score no points. With no replays to also point out, we're gonna basically immediately go save the replays first, and basically get ourselves up to date on the championship standings. So, what are our thoughts coming into the end of this race? We should be excited. Lorenzo Ricci just showing that he has got serious pace in Sepang, and he should not be taken very lightly on that racetrack. That's also something that we need to take a look into. So, let's take a look into the championship standings of Formula Hololive Japan. So, here we are. There is the current point standings here as it stands. We have Lorenzo Ricci currently taking the lead of Formula Hololive Japan by around 200 points over Vlasa Damashev in 2nd place, 175. Rustin Carrazio 3rd. Alderson Tenarov 4th. Michael Turner 5th, and then we also have Kamenai Riba, Raji Kaczynski, Sean Pauli, Crystal Salomon, and Cal Gibbons inside the Suyo spots. The top 10 currently locked in for the Suyo with around 4 races to go. The standings have yet to be concluded, as it will be in continuous progress throughout the season. And we're going to be taking a look into drivers in the Zaco positions: Ray Liu, Fabio Mendes, Alex Grant, Tyler Williams, and Richie Rod. These are the 5 drivers in the Zaco that have scored points. We also have Jan Clark and Johan Sinful, who have failed to score points. Without out of the way, let's take a basically a bit of a short talk coming into the end of the stream. So it's a nice, fun race overall. Sure, we have one driver dominating the field with Lorenzo Ricci representing Hosho Marine taking the win. But that is the least of our concerns, because we got to see some interesting race strategies and some interesting strategy shakeups there, which resulted in drivers starting in mid pack being able to finish inside the podium at least. So congratulations to Lorenzo Ricci winning for Hosho Marine once again in Sepang. We hope everyone here has enjoyed the stream as much as we all do in the commentary booth. We hope everyone is also going to be ready to tune into the Split B race tomorrow. And at the same time, we're going to start 2 p.m. Japan time, 1 p.m. local time. So hopefully everyone is here to enjoy the race in Sepang, Malaysia once again for Split B. I'm Mama Reza, and you've been watching the 2024 Sepang Grand Prix Split A race of the 2024 Formula Hololive Japan Qualifiers. See you tomorrow.